Welcome everybody to Georgian Otakus. My name is Brandon. Over here is my buddy Tim. Say hi, Tim.
Hello.
We are here again to talk about stuff happening in the world. The very shitty world we're living in right now. Talk about some anime, some Star Wars, and some game stuff. And without further ado, let's just get right into it.
NANI?! I have you now.
The state of the world sucks, Tim.
I can agree with you on that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, even though we're living in a glorious first world nation, what do you give us right now?
Wait, 1 being bad or 10 being bad?
1 being the shittiest of shitty, and 10 being we're all millionaires.
I wish I could say 10. I'm going to give it like a 2.5.
God, we suck. Well, on that note, let's just keep grinding ourselves down.
I mean, we got to in order to pay for this ridiculous gas prices.
Yes, we do. But let's pull back for a minute and talk about some other things before we go down the rabbit hole so deep that we strike oil, which we can't say our president is doing.
If only he could.
I don't even think he knows what the hell oil is spelled.
I don't even think he can make in positive sentences anymore.
Positive? No, everything coming out of him is negative, so positive is completely out of his mindset. But let's digress back just a little bit before we start talking about that dick cheese. So, happened recently in the news, former UFC champion Cain Velasquez is currently in prison under the charge of basically attempted murder. The bare minimum of the story is that a relative of his was apparently molested. What do you say, Tim?
I say that's a load of horse shit that they got that man in jail.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if the court system would have actually have sent the person that was molesting people to jail, that wouldn't have happened. Granted, I'm pretty sure we could both agree.
Chemical castration?
Well, I was going to more off talk about the factor of him trying to shoot and kill the man.
I mean, that's perfectly reasonable.
Well, I mean, killing the man, sure, but to just go out and try to kill the man is one thing. What I can't remember the actual full detail of the story, but there is an incident that happened long ago. You probably know about it, Tim.
Ooh, I know the one you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. You want me to break it down?
Yes.
So I want to say it was in the 70s, early 80s. This coach had basically been touching this one dude's son, kidnapped him. They found him, and they were bringing him back. The dad found out that he was coming, the airport that they were taking him through, called one of his friends. He said, and he told his friend, he was like, "Hey, are you watching the TV?" And his friend was like, "Yep." He's like, "Good, it's about to happen." And basically, the guy that abducted his son had been, molesting his son. The dude basically, while the guy was under FBI protection, gunned this dude down in the middle of an airport. And when he went to court for the whole thing, the judge basically let him go with like a legal slap on the wrist. He didn't do any jail time or anything like that, but he did get, some form of punishment. But the judge was like, "Oh, well, if that was my son, I would have done the same thing," kind of deal.
Yes, that is the exact scenario I was talking about, or trying to mention. This man legitimately shot and killed somebody that did a complete wrongdoing of justice. Complete piece of shit of a person. The dad knowingly got a gun, went to this airport in public with basically law enforcement escorting him. One tap, dome shot, perfectly. No second bullet. One shot killed this man.
Best part was it was televised.
Oh yeah, because they were going. This whole incident got news and it's going through the airport.
Hey kids, watch this. Boom.
Yeah, but in Cain Velasquez's case, as far as I've heard the story, he basically chased down their car and was shooting. And sadly to the fact, he did not even hit the intended target. He hit the intended targets. I think it was stepdad.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, it was he finally got them to he chased them for about 11 miles, and then stopped them. They stopped their car, and then Cain Velasquez walked up to the car with a 40 and fired a round and missed the intended target. But I mean, 11 miles is nothing compared to the fact that this dad back in the day went all the way to an airport and waited for this dude to be brought out with, basically, FBI or local, law enforcement, and then basically fucking one tapped him in the head. I mean, there's a big difference, you know.
Yes, there was a big difference, but at the same time, this man went to the courts through the court system, and the court let him go. This dude
I
was
don't
on
agree with
charge of
that.
molesting multiple people, as far as I'm aware. It was multiple people, and yet this guy was let go to be handled at a later time. Or to
Okay,
just
let's clarify. Not people, kids.
oh yes,
Molesting
that's
kids.
let's
But here's the thing. I completely and totally don't agree with the fact that the court in the Santa Clara court system in California, I'm gonna throw it out there, let this, supposed child molester go. It's utter horseshit that, they would even think of it think of that, I mean, you're gonna hold Cain Velasquez because of his, you're gonna deny him bail because of his MMA background. But yeah, you have a dude that, you have had children say, yeah, he touched me inappropriately in my no square, and you know, you let him out on bail. Like that's bullshit.
yes, that is. I think that is completely fair to give this one person out on bail. It makes no sense. This man legitimately did it multiple times. This man knew what he was doing. He did it multiple times. You think letting him out on bail, he's not gonna do it again while he's on bail?
Yeah, but if you look at like where he lives, like the daycare or whatever it is run by his mom or stepmom, whatever, and he lives in that same building as that daycare or whatever it is that his stepmom runs, mom or stepmom, whatever she is, and he lives there, So the fact of the matter of, you know, I mean, the court was like, oh well, we're letting him out on bail, but you can't be within 100 feet of, this, and this, and that's, you can do that, but at the end of the day, you let a fucking pervert go. I mean, my honest opinion is, look, either you there is no real win-win for a child molester. I mean, you go to court and you get convicted of it. I mean, it, and you go to jail. I mean, guess what? Hey, as soon as those inmates find out, you know what that you're a child molester. Even you could kill your mama and be sent to jail, and they wouldn't bat an eye. But you go to jail as a child molester, man. Them inmates are either gonna kill you or they're gonna rape you to death. I mean, even inmates have a sense of honor in a way. I mean, it's either you send him to jail and he gets killed and raped in jail, or you let him go and someone's going to find out. A very unhappy parent is going to basically hunt this dude down and kill him.
You make a good point on there, and I'm pretty sure you would have a lot of people argue, well, we can't send them to jail. We can't send them to jail. They're gonna die. They're gonna die. how do you think these kids are gonna feel in the long run? How many that might commit suicide because they remember this act from their past?
Well, here's my thing. I say send them to jail. Fuck them. You know, send them to jail. You don't want to send them to jail? Fine. Go back to Wild Wild West kind of law. Fucking string them up.
I mean, I wouldn't be too prone away from doing that, but then we get to the Middle East form of doing things, and we don't want to end up there. But
No,
it,
no, 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 no. Not Middle East. The Wild Wild West. You know,
yeah, but at that
fucking
point, you're
string
you're
them up.
you're talking about public execution. It's the same thing as public stoning to death.
I mean, I can go with that too for child molesters. I mean, I'll stone them to death.
Okay, yeah, I could give you that one. But I mean, at the same time, the world what we're living in now. I mean, I think the same time this news is coming out, you have down in Florida, they're passing a bill that they call it the uh like an anti-gay bill. There's nothing about it being an anti-gay bill. They suspended basically sex talks from like pre-K to 6th grade. So basically any kids under the age of 10 will not be getting talked about
Now,
things about
see,
sex.
I can get behind that kind of stuff. Like now going, change the topics. Obviously from the really bad to something like this. Here's my thing is children shouldn't be taught sex ed until they're at least you know in eighth grade of middle school, or you know freshman year of high school.
Okay, here, I want to take a quick pause on that. Sorry to interrupt you, but let me take a quick pause and just ask you a question. In middle school, did you know anybody, or my bad, not anybody can get pregnant, but that's a different topic, and screw everybody who wants to try and go that way. But did you know any girls, these aren't women, these are girls, they're in middle school. Did you know any girls that got pregnant in middle school? I think I know maybe there was 2 girls in my middle school that got pregnant.
No, personally, no. I can't think of a single one. Uh,
No rumor or anything?
no, there was plenty of rumors, but I never really gave a shit. So
But you can't confirm like yes it was 100% true.
no, I can't confirm that. I mean, I can barely remember what happened like a week and a half ago. You really expect me to remember something that happened over a decade ago?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I came from California. Women, girls getting pregnant in anywhere between middle school to high school honestly wasn't a shocking thing that happened. I mean, I'm pretty sure my aunt told me about some girls in my cousin's class in middle school that were pregnant with kids
All right,
already.
but going back to the sex talk, the sex talk, that's something that you shouldn't be having until your eighth grade, or hell, your freshman year of high school. Now if you have kids that want to go, all right, I'm a fucking middle school. That's fine. That's their own choice. If the parents decide to have that talk with their kids before the public education system has does, that's fine. That's completely up to the parents. But as far as public education goes, no, that should be eighth grade or ninth, like your eighth grade year of middle school or your freshman year of high school. Not no sooner, no later. It's not right to do that, and it's not right to have these books in the school system that you know have these concepts of sex or sexual acts in libraries. You know, like when I was in school, all I really cared about reading was like Hank the Cowdog books, and whatever other books there were. There were no books about sex or anything like that. It's only until recent years that stuff like that has come into play, and it's not right.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot talk to you about liking reading. I hate. Well, let me take that back slightly. I hated reading for school. Not like reading in general, but I hated reading for school. As of right now, I'm hooked on reading light novels. I spent quite a bit of money in the last few months buying a lot of light novels. But I mean, it it's not something that I have to personally deal with. I do have a younger sister who's, I think, about to go into high school. Sue me, I'm really out of touch with my sister's life. But at this point, I'm really out of touch with it because I'm across the goddamn country. I'm across the country living in God's country. Thank you, God's country, for getting me away from California. But we got to make sure we keep this area very, very straight and narrow. We got to keep that red blood flowing, right, Tim?
You damn straight.
Good. At least we're on the same agreement right there. We still don't agree on some things for politics, but damn straight, we got to keep this red blood a flowing. But coming from California, I do understand certain things of how those mentalities stink, and a lot of it's very, very stupid. I grew up in the Los Angeles Unified School District, the biggest school district in the nation. It's very similar to, I gotta say, just government in general. It is so massive that it really doesn't know what the hell it's doing. And nobody really pays attention to what it's doing because it's so massive. You can't really control it. But I think that's the state of which we are, and even the government today. They've gotten so big for their britches, they don't even really know what they're doing, and they're so out of touch with their people that they're supposed to represent, that they don't care. As long as they're getting what they want, they don't care about anybody else. Anything on that subject, Tim?
No, because this is going to piss me off.
Well, I mean, we're still going to kind of go into it in a second, but let's talk about something slightly different before we dive into that. So, one thing I wanted to bring up, being people that are very, very in love with World War II history and the way things kind of boiled to the melting point of Germany becoming a superpower yet again and starting dominating Europe. But this time they were pushed into that because someone came to them and said, "No, we are treated badly. We're gonna come back." And the purpose of history is to learn from it, to try not to repeat it again. And what I'm seeing is that this whole ordeal with Russia, basically almost every company is pulling out of Russia. Almost every single one of them. And they're basically being put into an economic spiral. In my personal opinion, I think the US I think what our current administration is doing is they're trying to incite a revolt within Russia so that the people get so broke that they try to revolt against their current leadership. I think they're just trying to push them down so economically that the citizens of Russia cause another revolution. I think that's literally what the U.S. is trying to do. What do you think, Tim?
I personally think that, I don't think we have the capabilities to cause a revolt or a revolution in Russia. I think it's just something that's going to happen. If it happens, it's going to happen naturally. But Putin is a very hardliner in terms of Russian politics. I mean, look at how long he's stayed president of Russia. I mean, honestly, I only see it going one of two ways. Either they have a revolution and, they overthrow him, or, Putin just decides to retire and he announces his successor.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think Putin will full force fledge World War III before he'd ever step down. But I mean, there is a highly big opportunity that he would secretly basically step down, but probably install a figurehead to proxy control over. Are you talking like that he's gonna have somebody proxy for him, or he's legitimately gonna step down?
Uh, I would say he'd step down.
You think this man would literally step down even though he's been in there so long? You think he'd willingly give up power?
Maybe. I mean, one can hope, right?
Oh, I guess I'm more cynical than you. I don't put my beliefs on hope. Besides religious hope, I don't put my beliefs in people hope. I'm not as good as my grandparents. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, my I do not believe that strongly in humanity, especially the humanity of the people that I don't know. To me, you live a very, very better lifestyle if you question everybody until you know them, versus just giving blind trust.
I mean, yeah, blind trust is, something you don't want to actually do. You want to actually have people, you want to earn the trust of people, and you want to be able to trust people, but they have to earn it, in my opinion.
I mean, at that point, I think we're kind of touching on the topics of how the world, not the world really, but the U.S. is doing this whole white supremacist malarkey. Racism isn't really rooted anymore. They can't. They really have almost no grounds to stand on that it's really, really here.
Well, okay,
People have to
so
prove
people,
themselves.
yeah, but we can't say racism's not there. Racism still exists in the world. It's not as predominant, but it's still there.
Yes, I
But
mean it exists.
besides,
It
yeah,
exists. There's no way you could say it exists in the world, but to try and say that it really is still so deep rooted in the U.S., you're grabbing at an invisible straw right there to try and say that it's
yeah,
here.
no, and I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. But like I said, dude, it's er, eh, uh, yes, you can look back and we can look back at history, and we can see that certain things are going like they did, way back in the day. But at the end of the day, it's up to the people of this great nation to realize that you know it's not the politicians that are in charge. It's not like the politicians hold all the power like people think. No, it's that is not the way that this country works. We the people put these people in their seats, whether it be in the a senate seat or the house seat, or even the president. We put them there. We as a people of this great nation hold the power, not the government. We do. By no means does the government have any right to say that the people have to be subservient to the government, which is what they're trying to put out. They're trying to push it to where people have to acknowledge that the government is, you know, the leaders, and they hold the power. That's not true. We hold the power as the people, and people tend to forget that. You know, there's there's so much going on in the world, and there's so much going on in this nation right now that people don't are they're being guided. They're being shepherded by you know by the government, whether they're Republican, Democrats, whatever. They don't want to open their eyes to reality and see that the big government is screwing us. They're screwing the working people. You know, I mean, all you gotta do is look at gas prices. You get look at the foreign policies of the current government. Look at who's still in offices. I mean, for God's sakes, you have Pelosi, who's damn near a dinosaur, and she's still in the same. She's still in the Congress. You know, it's sad. And I believe that there's going to come a day, and whether it's soon or 10 years down the future, where you know the people of this great nation say we've had enough, and they make the 6th of January look like Candyland for these politicians.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you on a lot of that, especially the whole Pelosi thing. I mean, she is a dinosaur. She is a relic that honestly shouldn't even have been in politics this long. And if you know Pelosi, she comes from San Francisco. San Francisco is a failed city. It is a freaking nightmare. It is Los Angeles times 10. It is bankrupt. It does not have money. I worked in the post office for 3 years. Every year I was in the post office, they had a sign up list asking carriers to go deliver in San Francisco for X amount of time because San Francisco was so bad on their mail delivery that it. I mean, I talked to carriers when they came back from that assignment. They're like, "Oh, we worked 14-hour days for like 6 days a week the entire
Yeah,
time they were
no,
up there."
that's BS. Now, there's the thing. Pelosi comes from a failed, city. But
No, no,
let's
no,
no
no.
no
She
no
made
no
it a
no
failed
hold on.
city.
Now hold on. Now now let's look at the man in the highest office in the world. The man in the highest political office that one can be elected to in this country. Okay, let's rewind the clock to back to the pullout. Right,
Oh God.
that pullout was just as bad of a pullout as Vietnam. Now, mind you, Biden at that time in the 70s was a senator or in the House of Reps, one or the other. I don't remember. I have to look back up. But he was still in Congress when that happened. Apparently, the man forgot that. And when you look back, you will see very good similarities where a Chinook or a helicopter is landing on top, in the 70s, you have a helicopter landing on top of the US embassy in Saigon. And then you look at the one, this current pullout of Afghanistan, and you got the same repeat as we did back in the 70s. And personally, anyone that has a 4-star on his chest that didn't fight back and just went along with that pullout should be fucking retiring. The Secretary of Defense, or the president, hell, if I was president, and that happened under my watch, I would have went right down. I would have gotten my happy ass in the limo, went right down to the Pentagon, would have called for the Joint Chief of Staff and all the Chief of Staffs, and I would have been like, I want each and every single one of yours resignation within the day. That's what I would have done because that was a sorry ass excuse. We left so much shit behind that's now being used by the Taliban.
Yeah, that pullout was just completely shit. And honestly, I understand we needed to end the war, but you didn't need to completely remove us from that scenario. You could have still kept Bagram Air Base there and made it a rotation, made it one of the rotations. You could have gone there for a deployment for X amount of time and then gone out. The U.S. still could have held military presence there. We still could have been kind of helping, but not been in an actual fucking war. But no, people wanted to pull out completely, and it's like, oh my God, you guys don't understand the world. But even if they wanted to pull out completely, I would have been fine with that too. That war needed to end. But at the same time, there is a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. And guess what? We lost service members because of it, because they did it the wrong way. The wrong way. And that's because politicians decided to run that, not the military. Politicians did. Just point period. Biden wanted out. No, you don't understand how to do this. And as military leaders, those generals failed. They failed 13 service members.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. But let's move on because if we get into this topic, we're never gonna move on to our next topics. So what's our next topic there, bud?
Well, just to put some information, so Biden has been a senator since 1973, all the way to 2009, from when he became vice president, basically. And
Yeah, no, he need to retire, bro. He just need to retire. Like if they've been in office for 20 plus years, they just need to go ahead and retire.
exactly. But let me drop this information. He started in the Senate he started a race for Senate in 1972. In 1972. This man was born. He was born in 1942. He got in the Senate in 73. So at that point, you know, you're talking basically 30, literally 30 years, just shy of 30 years. This man was basically 29. He was 29, roughly, when he got into politics. People keep saying that he's a man of the people. He's a man of the people. He's part of the working people.
Yeah, the people that suck dick and take money from big corporations, sure.
Pretty much, this man never held a shovel basically in his life, besides if he worked at his own house.
Yeah, I mean, it's bullshit to be honest. That people still think that about him.
Yes, I mean, the fact that Trump couldn't win against this dude, honestly, is just like, dude, how could you not win against him? You could have easily have debunked almost everything about this man that people tried to say was good about him. You could have basically completely debunked it.
I'm just gonna say this now. They cheated. That's why he lost. I'm just gonna say it now. You can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I still wholeheartedly believe they cheated. Uh, in order to get that damn puppet into office. I mean, that's all he is. He's a puppet with a stick so far up his ass that someone else is, telling him what to say and what to do. But I digress. Let's move on to the next subject. I'm tired of politics and I'm tired about negative stuff. Let's talk about some good stuff now, bro. Let's talk about some anime.
Nope, not just yet. We're gonna ruin our lives a little bit more, Tim.
I hate you.
Too bad, so sad. So, I want to talk a little bit about basically power.
Power.
Yes, power. Literally raw power. So, this past week, good old Stephen Colbert, the righteous hypocrite that he is, decided to make a remark about gas prices being so high, saying that the people of this nation should be willing to pay a few extra bucks for gas in return of a good conscience.
Kiss my ass.
Yes, very. This man is so separated from the normal people. How could you even dare say that? Have a good conscience. Good conscience? The man that's currently in the presidency decided first day to end the Keystone Pipeline would have brought hundreds of jobs, cheaper gas to our nation without really any reason. Besides, the climate. The climate. But at the same time, we don't really have any nuclear facilities producing power in the U.S., which is literally the cleanest power you can get.
I mean, unless you have a Chernobyl incident, but hey, just on the opposite, on just to kind of, what kind of popped in my head when you started talking about unlimited power.
There's one thing that popped into my head.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
I don't know. Are you thinking Star Wars? Or are you thinking something else?
I'm thinking Star Wars.
Yes. But let's not dive into that just yet, or else we're going to go down another rabbit hole we can never crawl out of.
We're already there, dude.
But at that point of military backgrounds, we obviously know what runs our submarines, Tim?
Diesel. Oh, you're talking about nukes.
Well, not nukes in particular, but yes, Tim, nuclear. And what powers our carriers?
Diesel.
Okay, stupid.
Oh, you're talking nuclear again.
Yes, nuclear. Nuclear. You cannot say that nuclear is not feasible. We have been using it for a long time. A long time we've been using nuclear to push through our war machine. The fact that we've been harnessing nuclear power in our military for so long, you can't say that we cannot use it.
I mean, we do have nuclear reactors, providing powers in certain parts of the country, but yeah, no, I will say this. I do wholeheartedly agree with you on that, but and oh, I'm sorry, I acted like Biden there for a minute. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, no. No, you got a senior moment. Oh. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel whenever I see that dude having a senior moment during a speech.
I mean, that's if he can get half the sentences out.
You should not be putting a man into power if he cannot even read a goddamn prompter. This man is a piece of shit, and they know it. But let's digress further away from Biden, because it's God.
Anime.
No, not just yet. I gotta finish. We gotta finish with our good friend Stephen Colbert, because I'm not done, Tim. I'm not done with his good conscience.
Okay, let me put it this way. Stephen Colbert, kiss my ass. I no, in good conscience, you can kiss my ass. For everything that he has said, no, kiss my ass. Like, you can afford, $4 or $5, $6 gas prices. I mean, you got the money. I mean, you look at the working man. Hell,
Wait,
it cost me money.
Wait. He didn't go $4, $5. He decided to say, I'm willing to pay $15 for my gas.
How much?
15.
Oh, hell no. He deserves an ass kicking. Like, no, that's an look. I hate paying $4 and something odd cents for my gas. All right, it takes me $70 just to fill up my truck nowadays because of the gas prices. I mean, hell, my motorcycle, which I have to use premium gas for, costs me $15 to fill up. At this point, it's more tempting just to ride my damn motorcycle in any kind of weather, just so I only have to pay $15 for gas. No, Stephen Colbert, you are fucking retarded. You can pay $15 personally. I will stick to the $4 and something odd cents that it is right now. It keeps going any higher, I'm going to put my boot into someone's ass.
Yes, screw Stephen Colbert. And in his statement, he says, well, I drive a Prius, so it doesn't... Or, my bad, a Prius. Oh, no, that's not good enough for him. I drive a Tesla. A Tesla. The manufacturing cost that it makes to make a Tesla produces so much bullshit in the air that it's not really even a lifesaver in the long run.
Wait, did you say he drives a Prius?
No. I sorry, I got that wrong. It's a Tesla, Tim. It's a Tesla.
He looks like a Prius man.
Oh, wholeheartedly, yes. He looks like he has something shoved up his ass. But no, he drives a Tesla. And that prompted me to get some information off the Tesla website. The cheapest Tesla, Tim, the cheapest Tesla, brand new, is $41,000.
Yeah, no, I ain't doing that. I mean, it's just like these hardliners in the Democratic Party saying, that everyone in America within the next like 10 years should have, an electric vehicle. No, you can kiss my white fucking ass. I am not getting an electric vehicle because I'm only trading gas for a higher electrical bill. No, thank you, and no spank you very much. Nah.
Exactly. It is completely ridiculous to try and say that electrical power is at its best point to where it can replace fossil fuels is completely damn ridiculous. Okay, so just so people have a breakdown here. The price per kilowatt hour. Is currently about 12 cents in Georgia alone. How about California? Good old California, 20 cents per kilowatt hour. Look at your electric bills, what they are currently. How much would you think they go up as soon as you put in an electric charger for your car? If you had one. Because you'd have to charge it. And just so everybody knows, basically, the range for all these good old Teslas is basically the same range as my current car. It's anywhere between 300 to 400 miles is what the current Teslas go. Basically, same distance as a damn regular car. But no matter what, you're just trading your gas for electric that you have to pay for at home. That's adding to your gas bill. And even
This
then,
is true.
chargers are still not readily available going cross country. I know, I did it. I drove all the way across the country. Electrical chargers aren't available at every single gas station in the Midwest. Oh, sorry. But I was able to get across the country with my Kia all the way the hell over here because it is a gas Kia. I drove the electric one before I got my Kia. I drove the electric version. That thing only got 100 miles. As soon as they told me 100 miles, I'm like, ha ha ha. This car's a piece of shit. Who the fuck is buying it? But even then, with the way used car sales is right now, good luck trying to get a Tesla for anything under a new Tesla cost price. Good luck trying to get a Tesla when it's on back order because parts aren't here, and it was already on back order because people were trying to buy them. Good luck for the regular family because how are they going to afford like a $600 a month car payment plus the insurance on it, because just to replace the batteries in a damn Tesla is about $1,000 a battery. And if you get a used one, you're probably going to have to replace those batteries soon anyway. So good damn luck. Stephen Colbert, drop goddamn dead, you piece of fucking filth. The fact that you think you could tell people to pay more than $5 for gas and be cool with it. The fact that you want to try and say we should be fine paying $15. Go fuck yourself. You don't even care about the own people that are on your staff that could barely afford what they're living with now. Do not comment about the regular people because you are no longer one of them. The wealthy elite are pieces of shit and they don't really care. They're making more money than they know what to do with. They have no right to speak for the common people. And that goes for all you politicians that are making millions while taking a seat in Congress and the Senate. You guys have not been part of the people for a long time. You need to get the hell out and let the common people rule themselves because you are not one of them, so you should not be ruling us. And just like you said, Tim, this nation was founded by the people, and the people run it. The people need to take it back, whether it be in a very forcible means or by doing it the way through we set it up and do it through voting. But also, and it's something that I want to talk to you later in private at some point. But as far as to my knowledge, there is nothing that stops the people from pushing a bill to Congress. As far as I know, you do not need to be a congressman or a senator to push a bill in. And as the people, we need to start enforcing rules on our politicians because they don't ever force rules on themselves.
No, they exude themselves from those rules. I mean, it's stupid. But Brandon, can we change the topic now? We're going down a rabbit hole that's going really, really dark, and I want to go back to lighter stuff like anime and Star Wars.
Yes. At that point, I am done. I am done. But to all those wealthy millionaires that don't give a shit about us that are in Congress and the Senate,
Fuck you.
fuck off, you wealthy pieces of shit. And on that note, Tim, you just got some anime news. Preach it, brother.
Oh yeah. So in case people that are listening and are just as much as anime nerds as me and my good buddy here, uh, so one of the animes I've been trying to keep up with a lot, in terms of uh, new seasons. There's one I've been looking forward to, and it's finally got a fourth season, and that would be Overlord. So Overlord, apparently is now come the fourth season of Overlord, I should say, is now coming out in July of this year. From the trailer I've seen, it looks like we're going to see a little bit more introductions of new characters, and more development happening, along with seeing, finally the slain theocracy actually showing up in there as well. Um, but that, my friends, is not until summer. But what we can talk about is just like last week, we can talk about some of the new ones coming out in April, and some of them I have been looking into and watching the trailers more, and some of them actually seem not that bad. One of them being, they got. Let's see here. Let me think here. Anyways, I'm not gonna really name specifics. I'm just gonna say this: there's a lot of good ones that are coming out. There's, obviously there's gonna be a handful of,
Ooh, Bookworm's
isekis.
coming out.
Oh yeah, Bookworm comes out in April as well. They have not announced, who's going to be airing it. But if you're interested in the second season of Shield Hero, that will be airing on Crunchyroll. Um, there's also, Data Live, which is confirmed for next month. But as far as a release, as far as a who's going to be airing it, they have not released. Uh, there's a couple of others. The Skeleton Warrior is another, I guess you can say isekai in a sense. That one will be airing off of Crunchyroll. There will also be, if you ever watched, I think it's called Zero. I have to look it back up, but that one is, there's an anime where it's basically a witch and a beast man who basically looks like a white tiger carrying a broadsword. It looks like, they're gonna be having another season where where those two characters do show up. As far as what their roles are in that series, I have uh no idea. A lot of these don't have specifics on who's going to be airing them, but my theory is, with now that Funimation and Crunchyroll being officially merged, and them combining their libraries, I do foresee a lot of these being either on Funimation, or if they're not going to be on Funimation, they're going to be on Crunchyroll. But I feel if they're going to be on Funimation, they will be on Crunchyroll.
Well, I mean, at this point, both corporations are owned by Sony, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be simulcast between both of them.
I mean, yeah, that's also a good hypothesis. I mean, for me personally, it's just there's some I've been watching trailers of, and they're they're they seem sweet and innocent, and they look like they're gonna have a good storyline. Um, so that's just me personally. But like I said, there's always going to be more coming out. But those are series. Now, if we look down at movies coming out, May 20th, we have a sequel film to this last season of the I can't remember the English name of it. The one with the
Oh,
five sisters.
um, damn, I forgot the English name for it.
Yeah, I did too. I can't. Anyways, they have a movie for that. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Super, they do have a Dragon Ball Super movie called Dragon Ball
Oh,
Super
here we go.
Superhero.
The quintessential quintuplets.
Okay, the the
The
quintuplets one,
quintessential
the quintuplet
quintessential
ones. Shut up!
quintuplets.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! The quintuplets one will have a movie in May 20th of this year. It'll be a sequel to the last season. Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which is a sequel to Dragon Ball Super Broly, will be released April 22nd. That one, I would say, would be an interesting watch. Um, as far as OVAs, ONAs, and specials, we still have the continuation of Strike the Blood Final, um, Tiger and Bunny 2. Those are the only ones I really foresee being any good.
Um, for the most part, yeah. I mean that movie coming out is gonna be good. There should also be eventually a. I heard about this through some anime news, just in general. But supposedly there might be a mini movie for Mushoku Tensei depicting the time between season. Okay, so they did this a lot like Attack on Titan, how they put out a second part. Technically speaking, as far as I'm aware, Mushoku Tensei, if you've watched it, that kind of second season is actually just the second half of the first season. So technically speaking, we are still only in have done season 1 in Mushoku Tensei. But as far as I'm aware, there's probably going to be a movie coming out between season 1 and season 2. And not to be big on spoils, but there is a good amount of stuff that happens. There's not a good amount of stuff, but there is something interesting that happens for good old Rudius while he is venturing by himself without anybody by his side, where he basically becomes an actual full-fledged adventurer, and another love interest pops into his life very briefly, and just to say, it was never consummated, but it was just a love interest. It doesn't affect the all the lovely women already in his life.
Yeah, let's just say this. I mean, there's all kinds of interesting animes coming out soon. When they do start dropping, we'll be able to talk about them a little bit more detailed, episode by episode, when they release. Just depending on what we watch. Me personally, I'll be watching a good variety. Brandon, on the other hand, he's a very picky individual. I don't care. I'll watch whatever so long as it keeps my attention. It can make me laugh, cry, whatever. I'm freaking happy.
Yeah, I'm very picky. I'm very picky. The over sexualized ones, I sometimes cannot watch. Tim just loves them. He loves cackling like a hyena while he watches them. But yes, I'm a little bit more pickier. I really like the school atmospheres ones. Maybe because I didn't really have a great school life, so I like watching the school ones.
You weirdo. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, I will say this. There is one. I don't know what I don't know what they're gonna call it in English, but there's one where you know how like you normally have like that girl, like the animes, like the school animes, where you have like a very unpopular girl, or end up dating like the really cool dude kind of deal.
Yeah, that's similar to My Dress Up Darling right now. The most popular
Yeah.
girl is
Okay.
with the
So,
random guy right now.
well, not officially in that one. Anyways, this one is
Hey, she
hey,
loves
hey, hey, hey.
him.
I know. Now shut up. Now hey, in this one you have this really unlucky high school dude named Izumi, right? So in school, she has this a really kind personality, this great smile, and everything else, right? But when is the main character Izumi gets into trouble, she turns into like this really super cool girlfriend kind of deal, right? Where it's like, holy shit, like, damn, I wish I dated her in high school, kind of jazz. You know what I mean? If you watch the trailer, you'll see what you'll understand what I'm saying, and it's just it just seems like a really good. Uh, to me, it seems like it's going to be a really good one. That one's going to actually be airing on Crunchyroll, so I'm definitely watching that one.
Well, I mean, you didn't do a good job explaining it, but I'll peek into it.
All right, here, here I'll read you the basic synopsis, right? Okay, it's called Kawaii Dake Jani Shikimori-san, right? So the ultimate heartthrob girlfriend appears. Naturally unlucky high school student Izumi's girlfriend is his classmate Shikimori. She has a beautiful smile and kind personality, and always seems happy when she's with Izumi. She's a she's pretty cute and loving girlfriend. But when Izumi's in trouble, she transforms into a super cool heartthrob girlfriend. The fun lives of this cute and cool Shikimori, Izumi, and their good friends never end. Now, if you watch the trailer, you'll actually see what it's talking about when she turns into this cool heart-throbbing girlfriend. Her whole demeanor and everything else changes, and you're just like, holy shit! Like That's fucking awesome. Brandon, you're being quiet. Talk. Talk, son. Talk. Talk about anime, son.
I'm kind of glimpsing the trailer of the show you were just talking about.
Do it.
Do it.
Anywho, but yeah, there's like I said, there's all kinds of stuff. If you like,
okay, well that one, let me just say that one is, looks like a school romance one, so you basically have me sold on it.
Yeah, son. Now see, another one is, and I know we covered it a little bit. Was Kingdom is the 4th season of Kingdom? Yeah, there's a lot of yelling, but to me, it's got a good storyline. When there's action, the action is actually pretty good. Now, the animation for like the first 2 seasons, it's kind of you kind of get past it. But once you get past that animation and you get into season 3, season 3 is when the animation starts to look like your typical regular anime animation and everything else. And the story to me is a very good story. It's consistent. It doesn't really have a whole lot of backstories. At least in my opinion, it doesn't. It's not like some of these animes where you have like you have an episode or two that are just like backstories or something like that. It's pretty good. um, but as far as anime goes, that's really it. Unless Brandon, you want to talk about any new one, any ones that are currently out, uh, or we can wait until some of them have finished up, which it looks like there's about Let me make sure I'm doing my math right. 1, 2, 3. No, yeah, 3. There's a couple ending this coming week, and then another few in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It looks like there'll be some ending. So I say next week we can give our basic opinions on the ones that are currently ending within the next week.
Yeah, we could go over kind of the end of the series the next 2 weeks, because that's 2 to 3 weeks is when a lot of them are going to end. So
Now,
we could touch back on them, on the
now
endings.
I am going to touch on one because it's been over for a minute, and that's Demon Slayer. You didn't really watch it because you don't like that kind. But for those that have watched this, the latest the latest season was about the entertainment district. That one, in my opinion, was actually a pretty good one. We got to see the development of these characters, and my personal favorite development was regarding Nezuko actually entering another demon form and basically kicking the holy hell out of one of the upper 6 demons. For me, it was a really good arc. It covered a lot of character development. We saw a lot of that character development, and we saw some really great action scenes. Now they have announced that they will do another arc covering the Swordsmith Village arc, but as far as an official release date for that, they have not said. I'll have to go back and double check, but as far as my knowledge, they have not said when.
I mean, it's not really one that I just won't watch. It's just one that I couldn't get into just yet, dedicating myself to.
Well, start dedicating yourself, bitch.
Well, sometimes, it's easier to watch a show when it's just done, so you can just go back and watch the damn thing. It's hard sometimes to watch a show once a week, especially with anime.
Like I said,
you have
this
like
one
10
is
of them that come out that you want to watch, and you're just like, I don't have enough time to watch all these damn shows.
Well, here's the thing: is you get this one. This one is done. Like the first season and this quote unquote second season are done. They even have a movie out. Now the movie was pretty good. They did take the movie and they did turn it into like a little mini arc. And there are
okay, on that
some
note,
variations.
Is it a mini arc, or is it literally?
It was literally a movie.
synopsis?
So it was a movie. So what it was the way the first season ends is you have all the characters, the primary characters get on this train. All right. That's where the movie picks up. Okay. The movie picks up at the very end of season 1 and it shows the events that happen on that train. Now, it was a fantastic movie. You got this like it's the very first movie where you see a Hasura, one of the top demon slayers actually fight. And he fights the upper 3, the third strongest demon out of the upper 6. Okay? So you've got the upper 1, upper 2, upper 3. The upper 3 shows up and he fights this flame and he fights, the flame Hasura, which is the flame Hasura at that point in time is considered one of the strongest out of all the Hasuras, in terms of sword abilities and, just lightning ability in general. So they made a really good fight scene between those two. But the fight scenes throughout and the progression of the story was actually pretty good for a movie. And then, like I said, they turned that movie into a little mini arc. And there's some minor variations between the movie and the mini arc. But personally, if you want to get a good understanding of the events on that train, I personally recommend you watch the movie.
Well, I mean, it's on my little backlog of things to watch, but I'm definitely gonna eventually go through it. I mean, no matter what, the art style for this show is just it's ungodly. It's literally is an unparalleled art style from any other anime.
Now they do have it dubbed. They do have everything. They do have the first season, the movie, and I believe the current arc, the entertainment arc district that's currently finished. I do believe they have them dubbed. So if you do like watching stuff in dub, that is currently dubbed.
Well, I mean, it just makes it easier for me to make up that catch time because it's easier to watch a show when you're like laying down before you go to sleep. It's easier to kind of go to sleep when you don't have to read the whole way through. You can just watch.
Yeah, that is true. But I think we've covered enough about our anime subjects for today. I'm gonna go ahead and transition us into our next one, which is gonna be one of my personal favorites, and we're gonna talk about a combination of gaming and Star Wars.
Whoa, wait, Tim, wait, Tim.
Don't tell me to wait. I'm already
Yes.
transitioning, son.
No, but we can't switch into Star Wars and gaming just yet because something came out this week.
What you talking about, fool?
I'm talking about the trailer for Obi-Wan.
Ooh, that's Star Wars. It's a gaming / Star Wars transition. We're going to talk about Star Wars, but in there I'm going to throw a little bit about a Star Wars game. So we're still going to be talking about Star Wars, fool. Now let me talk about my Star Wars.
But it's Obi-Wan.
That's Star Wars. Shut your mouth and listen. Yes,
No, it's
like
Obi-Wan.
Brandon has said, they did release a teaser trailer for Obi-Wan, which is going to be airing on Disney Plus. Now, the trailer itself looks very good, and the fact that they kept Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan is fantastic. Now, for those of you that are very, under a rock and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Obi-Wan is going to cover the life of Obi-Wan Kenobi after the fall of the Republic and after Order 66, where he has basically self-exiled himself to Tatooine, where he will basically watch and protect from the shadows Luke Skywalker as he grows up.
You know what? Not only that, though, they actually bring back quite a few people. They bring back Ewan McGregor. They bring back Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, and they actually got the same guy that played Uncle Owen from Episode 3 coming back as Uncle Owen. Not a big actor, but still, that's pretty cool in my opinion.
They also introduced you actually see the Inquisitors from Rebels in a live action series. I'm not a fan of them, but to each his own,
I mean, no matter what, they are an actual good plot line because, everybody knows Darth Vader, part of his role as being under Darth Sidious was to still continue the mission of eliminating the Jedi. And he found Force-sensitive people. They weren't strong Force-sensitives for the most part, but he still found people that he could basically in charge with the annihilation, the complete and utter annihilation of the Jedi Order. Which at that point, it's nice to finally get another show more off touching the subject, because at this point we've had Star Wars Rebels that covered the area between Episode 3 and Episode 4. We had Star Wars Rebels, and then we also had the what was the name of the game, Tim? I'm blanking out in the game. Jedi Fallen Order?
Fallen Order, yeah.
Yes. In my opinion, that game, people give it a lot of praise. Oh my god, the mechanics for that game for me were complete and utter dog shit.
Hold on. It was all right. It was all right. Yeah, the controls were a little wonky at times, but it was pretty good. Now,
It wasn't the
now hold on,
controls. It
hold
was
on.
just that they weren't responsive a lot of the times for some reason. Like literally, you're trying to block an attack and it just wouldn't do anything.
Okay, yeah, now I see what you're saying. Yeah, now, uh,
The
no,
story wasn't
here,
all
yeah.
that great either, though.
Now here's the thing, is again, I will reiterate what I said last week. I do not like the current Disney canon. Am I glad for more Disney show, more Star Wars shows and more Star Wars content? Yes. Would I like to see something along the lines of, them backtracking and going back down a Legends timeline? Yes, I would love a Legends timeline. Now, speaking about Legends, there's an old Star Wars game called Empire at War, and they have the Empire at War, and then they have Empire at War Gold Pack. The Gold Pack basically includes the Forces of Corruption, which is the second game.
That
Now,
that was an awesome expansion set. Awesome.
oh yeah, now here's the thing: is watching YouTube, I have found some mods made certain certain modders, and they have made a Fall of the Republic mod, and they have made an Empire at War expanded mod. Now, the Empire, and I'm going to talk about both. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Fall of the Republic. The Fall of the Republic, I played a little bit of into, and it's very interesting playthrough. I've only played as the CIS, the Confederacy. Now the Confederacy playthrough is very interesting. You don't play as you don't control all the Confederacy worlds. Each Confederacy world, different worlds are controlled by different factions within the Confederacy, like the Techno Union, the Trade Federation, so on and so forth. Now you can earn, enough loyalty points or favor points or whatever it's called again within this mod as a Confederacy, and then they'll join you. That minor faction will join you as the primary. Now, they do have, just like in the base game, they do have ways to progress further in the tech line. They give you available, to give you more stuff available to you. So from what I've seen so far, it's a nice mod. Now moving on to the Empire at War expanded mod. That one is a complete, and it's a very, very dynamic mod. Whereas with other mods, you just buy stuff and it automatically takes the full amount out. This one allows you to buy, from different planets, and it slowly drains your current treasury. But you also have to be aware of the upkeep of your units. So that also adds another little thing for you to pay attention to. And there are now, within that one, they have sectors. So sectors are basically, a cluster of planets, and they form a sector. Now, the in terms of unit detail, they're very, very different. Republic, Fall of the Republic, the ship models and everything else, they look nice. They're very visually pleasing, but they don't have all the nice little minor details like the Empire at War expanded mod, you know. Um, but it's still fun. The Empire expanded has I'm not gonna say very, very detailed, but they're very detailed ship models. You can see the turbo laser batteries on the ships and everything else. You know, so in terms of detail, if you want detailed ship models, I would say go for the Empire expanded mod. If you want, to play as the Republic or the Confederacy, go with the Fall of the Republic mod. The Fall of the Republic mod, the ship models are basically just like the base game models, just in terms of detail. Brendan, what do you say about them? I mean, you haven't played them, but from what I've described, would you want to try them?
Oh yeah, definitely a reason to come back to Empire World at War. Um, it that game was impeccable. It really it had no I had no issues running it up compared to a lot of other games that were the same play style. That one actually was done very right. That is a game art or a game style for Star Wars that I wish could come back soon, because they keep making all these other games and for Star Wars, and it's like, you guys do so bad. I mean, the revitalization of Battlefront, in my opinion, was the shittiest fucking thing ever. I mean, I know you've played a lot more than Battlefront more than me, Tim, but it's just like, you basically just needed to take Battlefield and put a Star Wars skin on it, and that's all you needed to do. But they tried to make like a whole new game, and it just, all the mechanics that they put into the game was just so bad. Those games were so broken when they started, and they just stayed broken. But when it comes to games, I mean, Battlefield has not really been making really good systems. The games themselves look great, and the mechanics work great, but like the system of the games, Battlefield has been dropping the ball a lot. 2042 coming out as a paid-for game, and then it's supposed to be soon transitioning to a free-to-play game because it's been doing so bad. It's just hilarious. But
Now here's the thing. So looking into some more stuff in terms of Star Wars gaming, uh, the remake of Knights of the Old Republic. So apparently, according to a Star Wars leaker, uh, it is set for a 2023 launch with
oh, you mean the
2022.
OG game?
Yeah, with 2022 dedicated to two other space opera games. Now, what those are, I have no idea. Um, but I will look into those and see if I can find out, more. Now, uh, in terms of very old Star Wars games, yeah, and we're talking about the OG. Yeah, we're talking about Knights of the Republic. Knights of the Republic. I would love to see a remaster of that. Now, whether or not they keep the same combat mechanics, uh, you know, to keep the original, I think that would be nice, a nice little touch. Now, if they change it, they better make it a damn good change. Because if not, I'm gonna be pissed. You don't take an OG game like Knights of the Old Republic and you remaster it, and the remaster turns out to be an utter flaming pile of dog doo doo. You don't do it.
I
You
mean,
just don't.
that game, the story is great. I mean, honestly, that game, just take that game and give it Unreal Engine graphics, and I'll be fine. You don't need. I'll stick with the clunky, the clunky combat style, and all the aggravation it had, as long as I get that story in a prettier picture. Because I cannot go back and play that game, the original. The graphics just look so bad. It makes me want to
I mean, yeah,
cry.
the graphics look bad, yeah, but it's still. Here's the thing. I would gladly go back and play it and deal with the bad graphics, and because the story is just so freaking good. It's a really good story. And everything else. Now, talking more away from the Star Wars games to Star Wars itself. You know, uh, I will say the fact that you know there are some things that Disney will be putting out that I like in terms of their canon. But one thing I did not like was how they did Grand Admiral Thrawn dirty and Rebels. They kept his intellect, everything else fine, but the way they quote unquote killed him was trash.
I you gotta remember, that's a quote unquote, because technically speaking, he was just teleported into deep space using these mystical space whales. But
I
he's
mean,
still
come on,
alive.
freaking space whales, come on, that's fucking trash.
Yeah, it's weird, but no matter what, you can't say he's dead. He was teleported to an exterior, to beyond dark space, which, as we all know, the Sith relevated in dark space and came back from it. So
AKA the unknown regions of space. Basically, that's all dark space is. They basically took the name of unknown region and they changed it to dark space. Now, one faction I would love to see them actually make, but I know Disney's never gonna make it, is the Haitian Consortium, right? And you don't really know a whole lot about them, Brandon. No, the Haitian Consortium basically, they themselves lived within, this nebula, and they were a very cut off society from the rest of the universe. Uh, One of the key things about them was whether they were female or male, they were considered a very beautiful race. I should say they were very beautiful slash handsome, but they were not a patriarch society. They were a matriarch society. They had a queen mother. Now their way of fighting was completely different. Their ships, were very simple but elegant in design. And they were a very interesting faction within the Legends universe. Now they brought that faction into the Disney canon. I would love to see how they bring it in and how they incorporate it in. But if they go and do them dirty and make them not an interesting faction, then I don't really want them to be brought in.
yeah, I don't know any lore really about them. I think I've probably heard the name, but not really who they are.
Yeah, you filthy heathen. But
Like I
no,
said, I don't really read too much.
here's the thing. The in Legends, they played a very key role in the Yuuzhan Vong War. Uh, but the daughter of the Queen Mother also ends up marrying uh Jason Solo in Legends, secretly. But anyways, that's a whole nother can of worms I'm not gonna open. Now, do you want to continue talking about Star Wars, Brandon, or do we want to move on to our last segment and talk about some games that are coming out and some games that we currently play?
Yeah, we can move on to that because there's one thing that I want to touch on, and it's from
I got
last.
it.
Shut up.
You talking about Tiny Tina?
No, not that yet. No, I
Damn it.
wanted my little tidbit of game news. So last, so last week I talked about a little bit about a company that was basically in the shit can because of their bad and rude behavior to their own promoters for their brand. Well, that company is Artesian Builds, and that company has not like actually just took a shit in the public eye. It has taken a shit in the completely corporate eye too. They are basically going bankrupt. I don't know if it's just alone the CEO for tax evasion, or if the CEO was doing tax evasion per the company, but they basically have lost their business license in California, and I guess that completely fully affected them because their main manufacturing is like over here in North Carolina, I think I heard. But apparently, these guys have gone so belly up that their corporate accounts have been frozen. So the people that are building these computers and need to order parts cannot order parts. They cannot complete the current builds they are doing. They cannot complete the orders that are in the pipeline. They are completely frozen. And I have not heard anything else really about those builds. And on top of that, they basically fired a majority of their staff, and their staff was only about 50 people. Apparently, they were actually doing pretty good as a business, but their COO resigned at one point. So the CEO, who basically caused all the controversy that's currently going on about him, was left in charge, and he basically has run it into the ground. So if you do have a build from them, honestly, if anybody really listens to us, I would like to hear how that build went. And if you do have a build and you haven't heard about it yet, and you somehow hear about it from us, you better hurry up and get your money back, because you're probably on a limited time window to get it back. But I really wouldn't doubt it if a class action lawsuit gets hit from them for not returning money that they need to return because people bought builds from them and they're not getting them. But other than that, when it comes to game news, Tim, why don't you talk about Tiny Tina?
the people that made Borderlands basically made D&D kind of variant of Borderlands, but where the DM is the crazy character Tiny Tina. We all know how eccentric she can be from previous games. So that one's going to be an interesting one to play, especially with friends. Uh, but as far as I can tell, the actual release date has not been released. Um,
Really, I saw that it was for March
no,
25th.
oh, according to Steam, it's not been announced yet.
Ah, really? I could have swore I saw a release date for March 25th. Unless they just recently changed it.
They had to just recently change it because on Steam it says planned release date coming soon. So I don't know when they plan on release announcing it, but it should be hopefully sometime soon. Now, another uh game I will mention that I've played recently is uh Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. And I don't know if you ever played Dynasty Warriors before, but it's a nice fun little game. They've changed some of the mechanics in there. So I'm not going to really delve too deep in it. I would just say that, it's a very different mechanic in terms of mechanics. It's very different from Dynasty Warriors Empires 8. Um, but beyond that, another game I'm waiting on it or waiting for DLC for is Warhammer 3 Total War. I'm waiting for that Blood and Gore DLC because with any other Total War, I love my Blood and Gore. Um, I'm thinking here. You got anything burning in terms of gaming?
No, not really of gaming right now. Not really much has come out. Right now, mostly I'm just playing. I started to play um, Horizon Zero Dawn. Finally, I finally am giving myself time to play that, and so far it's good. The game shows its age, but some of the mechanics are kind of clunky. I don't know if that's because I'm playing on PC, but I mean, besides the fact that like I want to play the game and there's a whole bunch of like side missions and shit, I'm like I just want to play the game.
Well, I mean that's with any RPG though nowadays though, man. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna do some self promoting stuff because I know no one's really watching. But another game I do play a lot consistently would be, if you're a fan of co-op uh military simulation games, Armor 3 is a very good one to play in my personal opinion, especially if you play with a really good unit that knows what they're doing. um I've been in a couple I've only been in really two units. I'm not gonna you know uh name the first one due to I don't want to make it sound like they're bad. But I was in a unit started off pretty good. We had a lot of people, mind you. It was beginning of the whole COVID bullshit. But then some stuff happened. Some people left. Some people became in charge, and ultimately, very recently, it became to the fact to where some of the people that were in charge of the unit didn't really listen to uh, people that had real life experience, or were like, hey, these are the problems, these are some concerns. uh you know it got to a point to where we were asked like, oh well, how were your frames for this mission or this operation, and it was like, oh well, I only had, my frames struggled a little bit, my frames dropped, and it was, oh well, that's too fucking bad, get a better fucking computer, or I don't fucking care, you know and that's just something that was not, really cool. Now the second one I will mention because it is a unit I helped co-found, and it's the very first one, and that one would be, the Fourth Armored Cavalry Regiment. We took me and one other person who has experience of building units and running the servers and everything. We basically went and made our own mechanized unit that is not based off of any real unit, or in I should say, but we are a fictional U.S. military unit. Uh, we have, maybe about 7 people on Saturdays that show up, and that's pretty much everyone in the unit. It's still a work in progress. It's still a growing unit. Um, so if you have, any kind of interest in that kind of game, or that kind of playing, uh, I will probably put a link to it the in future videos in the descriptions. So that's pretty much really all I got in terms of gaming right now. What you got? You ain't got nothing else?
No, I don't got anything. I just found I was clicking around on YouTube and I found something of the apparently George Lucas. Something says George Lucas nukes Disney Star Wars trilogy.
I mean, they took basically his life's work and they shat on it. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I just clicked on YouTube on my home page and I just saw it right there. Lucas nukes Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy, and I'm like, oh, I cannot not click on this.
Now, here's the thing. Going back to Star Wars real quick, I know we finished the Star Wars segment, but if you want to learn more about Legends and stuff like that, and you don't want to take the time to read the books, and you want to learn more, uh, look up a website called Wikipedia. It's the official Star Wars fandom wiki. It has a lot of pages both on the canon and Legends, and you can go from there pretty much.
Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. They need to get. They bring a whole bunch of bullshit into it, and they screwed it up. They screwed it up. Oh, and on that note, I learned recently that apparently Gina Carano will most likely be coming back to Mandalorian. Not this season, but probably next season. In season 4, she most likely will be returning to reprise her character.
Sweet.
Yeah, I won't hold my breath for it because we still got to go through one more other season. But I'm interested to see how that goes. Apparently, from rumors, there's going to be quite a few faces coming. Some old faces, or some old and some like not so old faces will be coming into Mandalorian season 3. So that's going to be interesting. Rebels was not a great show, but I really would love to see Sabine Wren come in there. When it comes to Rebels, that was like the one character that I did like. Ezra's character goes like a dick. The fucking Jedi dude, whatever. Hera was a really cool character. I loved her. She was very down to earth. And not only that, she was the only one like really willing to fight. Star Wars Rebels wasn't a great show, but it was a good show. The Bad Batch. If you have not watched The Bad Batch, go watch The Bad Batch. That shit is epic. But I mean, on that note, damn, doesn't seem like we have anything else to talk about right now.
I ain't got nothing else, bro.
Okay, well, we talked a little bit about bullshit. We talked a little bit about some anime. We talked some Star Wars and a little bit about gaming. On that note, everybody, we will be signing off. Tim, say goodbye.
Goodbye, my peasants.
Goodbye, peoples. This has been Georgian Otakus.